I went to this hyped up Asian fusion taco spot in Orlando, Florida. They're pumping out the music and have edgy signs up front, so the food must be good, right? Starting off with the fish tacos. These fish tacos had a spicy sriracha mayo and some slaw on top. Tasting it, it was pretty good. I definitely got the crunch when biting into the fish taco, and it wasn't soggy or drenched in oil. Next up was the Japanese hot dog. The funny thing is the sausage is a Chinese spicy sausage, but I guess what made it Japanese were the toppings. The hot dog was topped with an avocado wasabi spread with spicy mayo and some scallions. Tasting it, the bun was really good. Very buttery, probably will give you a heart attack. Next up was the braised brisket taco. This was honestly too vegetable-y, if that makes sense. There's too much of the banh mi slaw because it just tasted like a salad. But overall, taste, it was fine. Last was the arepa. The arepa was pretty good. Apparently it is what they're most famous for. There was a thick fried cheese patty with I went to one of the most hyped up Filipino ice cream spots in Florida. They're most known for their emerald green pandan ice cream and their Barney purple ube ice cream. Anyways, I got one of their specials, a concrete sundae. Tasting the jelly worms, my god, they were the worst I've ever had. They had to be like some weird vegan gummy worms. It was so chalky. Also, the green stuff on top, I thought it was pandan ice cream, but no, it was green colored whipped cream. Not really off to a good start, but the ice cream itself was good, nice and rich. We also got their pandan ice cream in a waffle cone. If you never had pandan ice cream before, I'll describe it as a milder vanilla flavor. It's good, but the allure is really just for that green color. Overall, this place is a very fancy little ice cream shop with great decor and interesting ice cream flavors. I went to this place that sold mochi nuts and Korean corn dogs. Having a business around trendy food seems risky, but then again, boba shops are still thriving. Anyways, I got a cookie and cream mochi nut, a Korean corn dog, and a scallion beef pancake. The cookies and cream mochi nut was very good. I really like the chewier texture compared to a regular donut. My only critique is that the cookies should have been less finely crushed so I could have some crunch. Next up was the Korean corn dog. I got that one studded with potatoes, which I loved growing up in Korea. Unfortunately, this was just a poor imitation. The potato barely studded the corn dog and seemed to just melt into it. Biting into it, it was very thick and overly potatoey. The balance of potato to coating was off. Lastly, I got a scallion pancake, which was way better than the corn dog. It had beef, scallion, cucumber, and some sort of hoisin sauce, and it was really good. Overall, the mochi nut and While I was in Florida, I stumbled upon an Irish pub themed restaurant and I had to check it out. I started off with this beer bread, which was the densest slice of bread I've ever encountered. It was interesting to say the least. Next up were the fish cakes served with tartar sauce and a pickled salad. These were pretty good, nicely crispy on the outside and bursting with flavor on the inside. I also ordered a flight of Irish beers. I hate to say it, but some of them were pretty hard to enjoy. In my opinion, German beers have a leg up on the Irish beers. For my main dish, I went for bangers and mash. Honestly, it was just sausage and mashed potatoes with fried onions. I don't know what I was expecting. My only gripe was the sausage tasted more like an American breakfast sausage with a lot of oregano flavor. For like $27, I would probably pass next time. I also tried these potato skins, which turned out to be really crispy roasted potatoes. They were pretty good, but didn't quite hit the mark as traditional potato skins. Overall, the experience was a mixed bag, but it's always fun to try new spots out. I was at the Point in Orlando, Florida, which is like an outdoor mall, and I came across this place that looked pretty inviting. I ordered an orange glazed duck dish, and presentation-wise, it was amazing. The orange glaze had a fantastic hue, and the contrast between the duck and the bright vegetables were stunning. Tasting the duck, it was nicely cooked, not dry, but perfectly juicy. The mashed potatoes were smooth and rich, and even the carrots were good, with the perfect amount of bite to them. My friend got a chicken breast dish with a cream gravy on top. The chicken was a bit overcooked, honestly, and it was kind of dry, but it did have a smoky flavor from the char. The gravy tasted like bacon, and I could see there were some bacon chunks in it, which were cool. Overall, the duck dish was the best. The only downside was that if you didn't order any appetizers, you would 100% get hungry. Like, I had to go to Buffalo Wild Wings later in the night to get some nachos because I got hungry again. Wawa is one of those special gas stations down in Florida. It's special because you can get a whole meal here ranging from paninis to salads. I started off with an Oreo chocolate smoothie, which was refreshing in the summer heat. My friend got a mixed berry smoothie, which was also quite refreshing. For food, we got a chicken tender Caesar salad. You might think, why get a salad from a gas station? But Wawa's quality is pretty good. The salad leaves were fresh and perfectly crunchy, and the diced up chicken tenders were tasty. I also got 2 chicken wraps. One was a bacon ranch chicken tender wrap. These are less than $5 each, but they're really good. If you're missing the old McDonald's snack wraps, these are just as good as that. And since I had some Caesar dressing left over, I dipped my wrap into it for extra flavor. Overall, Wawa is a great place to grab a quick and satisfying meal, even if it's just a gas station. So I went to Daytona recently, and you'll think it would be bustling with activity since it's a popular beach and it got that Daytona name. However, there's nothing in Daytona. Apparently hurricanes in 2022 wiped out a lot, and you can see it in the abandoned buildings along the coastline. However, I found this Japanese spot that was pretty good. The soup was delicious, and the spicy salmon roll had a surprisingly generous amount of fish, which I really enjoyed. Next up was the bento box. I chose the teriyaki beef as my protein, but it was a bit weird. The meat looked and felt off, like it might have been some sort of ground beef formed into a steak, but the rest of it was pretty good. The California rolls were tasty, and the dipping sauce was an interesting tempura sauce. The gyoza was nice and crispy, and I even got an onion ring. Overall, it was a pretty good meal and pretty affordable. You know, I currently live in Chicago where deep dish is supposedly the best thing. But man, this pizza I got at Daytona Beach of all places confirmed that a good thin New York style pizza is the way to go. I mean, just look at this cheese slice. The cheese is spread out homogeneously, and the leoparding at the bottom, where you get that char flavor throughout the pizza, was fantastic. Biting into it, it's not too cheesy like a deep dish, but it has the perfect ratio of cheese to sauce. I also got a chicken parm, and this was also fantastic. There was a thick and big piece of freshly fried chicken parm on top. The pasta was a bit whatever, kind of tasted like your typical school cafeteria tomato pasta, but the chicken was so good it more than made up for it. My friend the frog got this vodka pasta, and it was also pretty good too. A bit too bacony for my taste, but it was nice and creamy, providing a rich flavor and satisfying taste. In the end, I think a great thin New York style pizza is unbeatable and probably the best form of pizza out there. What do you guys think? While I was in Daytona, you know I had to get some seafood, so why not try a seafood boil? I got the fire level because I do really like spice and just wanted a little challenge on this vacation. Opening the bag, I could smell the seasoning. Tasting the crab, it was very good, nicely steamed, and the seasoning wasn't too spicy. I would say it was more salty than spicy. Also inside this bag of goodies, there were also potatoes, which were good. They were nicely steamed. Just make sure you dip them back into the sauce to season the unseasoned potato. They also had little sausages. These were alright, pretty salty. I wish they were cut a bit thicker. I also got these crab fries with Old Bay seasoning and chipotle mayo on top. They were actually pretty good. The fries were nice and crispy, and that chipotle mayo was as satisfying as ever. The crab meat on top was kind of masked by all the sauce, but it was still pretty good. Also, I did try my best trying to film a clean crab fillet, but it's pretty hard holding a camera in one hand. Overall, this place was really good. Would recommend. The last meal I had in Daytona was at Buc-ee's, the giant gas station that has everything from a variety of jerkies, pastries, full-fledged coffee bars, and barbecue. Buc-ee's is arguably the most famous for its barbecue, which they chop right in the middle of everything. I had to try out a sandwich and a sausage on a stick. I got the 3-meat sandwich, which had pulled pork, sausage, and brisket all slathered in a tangy barbecue sauce between 2 buns. It was a flavorful combination, though a bit messy. Next up was a sausage on a stick. Essentially, it's a sausage wrapped in a flour tortilla on a stick. Biting into it, it was okay, but a bit too salty and needed some kind of sauce to balance it out. I also tried a brisket sandwich, and I would say this was much better than the 3-meat sandwich. The flavors were more cohesive, and the brisket was tender and tasty. For snacks, I got a cup of Monterey Jack cheese, which was pretty good. To finish off, I had a fudge bar. I chose the cookies and cream flavor, which was delicious. The peanut butter one was alright, but not as